Title 42 started out as a pandemic-era travel restriction. It allows border officials to turn away asylum seekers and other migrants, all in the name of stopping the spread of COVID-19. Even though almost all other pandemic-era restrictions have been lifted, Title 42 remains. Lawyers and advocates for migrants are quick to point out the irony. The same conservative states that spent the pandemic pushing back against quarantines, mask requirements, and vaccine mandates are now asking the Supreme Court to keep Title 42 in place. Lee Gallerant is the ACLU's lead attorney in the lawsuit trying to end Title 42.
These 19 states have almost uniformly opposed every type of COVID restriction. The one type of COVID restriction they claim to support is the one that targets vulnerable asylum seekers. So I think it's hypocritical of these states to claim that they want to keep a COVID restriction in place because of any risk of COVID.
Alex Mensing is the communications manager for Innovation Law Lab. He also remarked on what he views as the height of cynicism by these Republican officials.
When public health measures are being used to save people, some of these politicians are opposed to them. But when they're being used to put people's lives at risk, all of a sudden they're in favor.
Title 42 has been used more than 2 million times to turn vulnerable migrants away from the U.S. border. And thousands of those migrants have been brutalized by kidnappers and other criminals in Mexico.
This has caused horrendous harm. Our partners have documented thousands of cases of rape, torture, persecution, even death.
The ACLU and other organizations originally sued the Trump administration after Title 42 was first implemented in the spring of 2020. In November, a federal judge in Washington, D.C. ordered the Biden administration to finally end the policy on December 21st. 19 conservative states asked a federal court of appeals to block that ruling. They claimed that lifting Title 42 would result in a surge in legal and illegal migration at the southern border. When a federal appeals court rejected their argument, they took the case to the Supreme Court. The court agreed to decide whether these states have the legal right to intervene. Justices are scheduled to hear oral arguments in the case in February. Until they make a final ruling, the order to terminate Title 42 is on pause. This means that asylum seekers will stay in the same dangerous limbo that they've already been in for the last 3 years.
The door has just been slammed shut in their face.
Mensing says that this decision strikes at the heart of the American asylum system, which goes back to the Second World War.
After World War II, when the world looked at what had happened and decided there needed to be a way to provide protection for people who were being persecuted in their home countries, that's when the asylum system was created. It's really troubling to see the U.S. turning its back on people who are fleeing violence.
Gustavo Solis, KPBS News.